Ahora puedes demostrar tu orgullo hispano mientras manejas en la carretera con la nueva tablilla o placa de auto hispana conmemorando los 500 años del descubrimiento de Florida por Juan Ponce de León.
Obtén tu tablilla hispana este año y harás la diferencia.
Solo 1000 se necesitan para hacerla permanente.
Su donativo ayudará a estudiantes con becas.
Nuestra comunidad se beneficiará con más programas y servicios.
Resalta nuestra cultura, nuestras raíces.
Demostremos que en la unión está la fuerza.
Obtén tu tablilla hispana en el Departamento de Vehículos de Motor más cercano o llama hoy al 321-277-0850.
Welcome back to Hispanic Speak Out. I'm Jose Miranda. Of course, this is being brought to you by Bright House, and it can be seen on Tuesday nights at 9:30. We're back with Access Community Center, and along with the representatives, Rafael Lopez and Ana Velar. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome, and thank you for joining us and sharing your time with us. Tell me a little bit about your organization.
Well, Access Community Center, we are a community partner with DCF, with the Department of Children and Family. We help people apply for Medicaid benefits, food stamps, cash assistance. We also help them apply for the Medicare Savings Program, which is a program through Medicaid that helps them pay or reimburse their Part B premium if they qualify. To qualify, you have to have a certain income or be under a certain income and under certain assets. We really help them apply, then we work them through the process. Not only do we help them apply, if they receive the letter, they're not sure on what the letter says, how to interpret the letter, what they need to do, they bring it to our office, and we have an office staff that's trained to help them read the letters, because a lot of people do not understand what's said on the letter, and we help them. We fax their information to DCF. We call with them, DCF, if we have to, just to see why they're denied a benefit, to see if they could fix it for them. We just walk them through the whole process.
Now tell me, how long have you been doing this? What made you start this?
It's a long story. Actually, I'm an insurance agent.
Okay.
Okay. And when I first got my license, I was sitting in front of the DCF office on 192 and Young in Kissimmee. At the time, they let us sit out there and help people apply for insurance benefits through Medicare. Okay, the Medicare plans. Whenever they removed us from there, I decided that I was going to open an office, and I became a partner with DCF to keep helping these people applying for benefits to DCF, because there is a lot of people out there that don't even know these benefits exist, don't even know what they could, how we could assist them and how they could qualify for these benefits. And they are additional benefits that help them with food, with money, because they reimburse their Part B premium, which is this year $99.90, next year $104.90, that they take every month from their Medicare check for their Part B.
You said you were an insurance agent, so that means you're in this business to make a profit. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm not a nonprofit.
Okay, so then how is it by you helping these people are you making a profit out of this?
Because since we give them such good service, when they leave my office, I give them my cards, and I tell them that I'm an insurance agent, that if they know anybody that needs help with insurance, with their Medicare insurance, with the services, to please refer them to us, and they do. And I just work basically on a referral basis.
Okay. Now, you've been in existence for how long?
Since 2005, but my office has been open since 2008.
Now, you have more than one office, I understand. Is that right?
I have 3 offices. I have an office on Oak and 192 in Kissimmee, another one in Curry Ford and Conway in Orlando, and another one on Southport and Pleasant Hill in Poinciana.
Okay. We're a Republican state. It's been that way for like forever, and sometimes they don't always get along with Hispanics and trying to help out and stuff like that. How is your agency different than other agencies in providing services for Latinos?
Well, honestly, we really go out of our way to help everybody. Not only Latinos, we help everybody in my office. And I have my office staff trained that we have a heart and we have to help people. And I really don't care, honestly, if I sell insurance or not. We really help them. We go out of our way. We do whatever we have to do for them so they could get their benefits. We walk them through the process. We get them on the phone. To call DCF, sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Sometimes they call 3 days in a row. They can't get a hold of them. Well, all we do is talk to them and tell them, listen, sit here, let me get the phone, let me put you on the phone, okay? And be patient, hang up, redial, and we do it all for him with them, and by the same time we're giving them comfort that they sit there and they have the patience so they could get their benefit, because I tell them this is for you. This is the benefit that you need. So you have to be patient and you need to call them. DCF is overloaded. There's too many people applying for benefits right now, okay, because actually the economy is getting worse. So there's more people without work, people that need the benefits. So since there's more people applying, it's harder for them to get through the process, to call them and get a hold of somebody on the phone.
Rafael, it's been said that the Hispanic community is somewhat fragmented and that families are broken up. Do you see that there are more split families, more mothers coming as opposed to couples and families? Or what
That is correct. I would say that 60%, if not more, of our customers or clients, they are from they're Hispanics. Okay, and I have noticed and I've seen that there are a lot of broken families, single mothers with 2, 3, 4 children, and so on. And well, it's what we're going through right now.
Okay. Is this a long process, or it varies from case? Each case is different.
Each case is different, actually, because it depends on the family size. It depends, because they ask them for information that they need or they want, to review the case. And if they don't send in the information, they're not going to get benefits. Some people, they send them the letter and they don't respond. If you don't respond, you're not going to get benefits.
Walk me through a process. I just walked in off the street. What do you need from me in order to get services?
Okay. All we need to have is their ID, social security number of everybody in the household that's applying for the benefits. Okay. We need to know their income, if they have an income. If they're in school full-time, they need to know that they're in school full-time, because kids do qualify until over 18, until I think it's 22. Okay, if they're in school full-time for benefits also.
Okay. Oh, you mentioned photo ID, photos. Okay, and seeing that we were in a little state where photo ID is an important thing. Are we talking photo IDs people have to bring in? Okay.
That's the only way that they know it's you, if it's a photo ID.
Okay. American citizenship?
No, not necessarily. They do have to be a resident for 5 years.
Okay.
A resident of the state or of the United States for 5 years. And Medicaid benefits is actually per state, because it's state benefits, and not all states are the same.
Okay.
So they might could come from a different state and have benefits there, being a resident for 1 year, but they get here to Florida and they have to be a resident 5 years.
Is Florida a tougher place to get benefits as opposed to, I don't know, New York or Oregon or any place like that?
Not that it's tougher, it's that there's less benefits. Okay.
When you say less benefits,
resources.
Okay.
The income level is lower than other states. So they might come from other states with benefits from New York, for example, and then they get here and they apply and they don't get approved. Why? Because the income limit in New York is higher than the income limit here.
Okay.
Okay.
What would be the average limitations here in terms of?
It depends, because it depends on
Is
the
there
number
average?
of people.
Is there an average? Is it
No,
10,000,
no.
20,000?
No, actually, it's per person.
Oh, per person.
In the household.
Okay.
So if you have, Raphael has it. He's also going to tell
Raphael,
you.
don't be shy.
No, definitely. I've been dying to over here because that is my forte in here. When we started about three years ago,
Right.
this lady over here had just opened up the first office, and I just walked in from the street. I'm retired, and I said, well, I would like to help and cooperate and be a volunteer. And when I started with her, we started helping and assisting about 6 to 8 people per day. And right now, the business has grown, like she said, that we have 3 offices, we have 15 secretaries, and we have 5 agents, and we assist over 2,000 people a month completely free.
Outstanding.
And they, getting back to the requirements to be approved or to qualify for the benefits, when they walk in through the door, the first thing we do is just we welcome them with a smile and to let them know that we're there to assist them, okay? We are not a state agency, and I'm not saying anything bad about the state agencies, but definitely the first thing is that we welcome them, we greet them, and we tell them that we're going to assist them. If they know the computers, we have the computers available for them. They can go into the system. Even people who knows computer, there are some questions that they might not know the answers. That's why our personnel is being trained properly in order for them to be able to have an application that is being approved. Okay, going back to the requirements, according to in the state of Florida, for one person you can make or have an income, whether if it is working or unemployment, a pension or whatever, of $931 per person, and they still will be able to qualify.
That's a month?
That's per month. Okay. Now, if it's two persons, it's like $1,250. If it is 3 people, it's $1,500 and change, and so on, and it goes on like that.
Okay.
Those are the requirements. Even if they have that income, and then they take in consideration the expenses in the houses. That's why when they come in, they have to bring all the information. Like I said, the pictures ID. Okay. From each one of them, the birth certificate from each children in the household, what is their income, how much are they receiving in pension or retirement or unemployment. If they're not receiving anything, well, definitely they'll be qualified. And depending on what are there's other requirements that they need to.
Please tell our listening audience how to reach you and your phone numbers and things like that. Okay.
We have the main office is in Kissimmee, in the corner of 192, which is the main street that goes right across, and in the corner of Oak Street. We are located right across the street from the Social Security office in Kissimmee. The phone number is 407-931-4825. 407-931-4825. And the address over there is 1372 East Vine Street in Kissimmee, 34744. The other offices.
Your email address?
The email address could be Access Community Center.
Okay.
The number 2 at
so
gmail.com.
They can go online and get a hold of you or your staff.
That's correct. They can either call us, they can go into send us an email. We'll be more than happy to answer them and all the questions. Our hours were open Monday through Friday, 9 in the morning until 4:30 p.m. We actually open until 5, but it takes about half hour, sometimes even more, depending on the number of people in the household, in order for us to be able to assist them properly. And we don't want anyone, to be just short of the.
Well, we have a minute or so left. What would be, if you had one way to reach people out there to come in for your services? What would you capitalize your status as? What would you say to them to bring them in?
Well, definitely, most people, like I said, they are in need of assistance. And we have gone over and above the call of duty. When we started, we only started having information because as a community resource, okay, we don't have, for instance, food pantries, but we were able to gather information about this. We started with 2 food pantries. Right now we have information about 30 food pantries. So people who are in need of assistance, they can go over there. They have the names, address, phone numbers, and the hours, and they can go and pick up food. And that and other information also.
And now people can come also, real quick, people can come and donate their time and donate food and stuff to the pantry and stuff, can't they? Can they do that?
Yeah, sure. If they would like to do that, yes, we could do that.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you for taking the time out to join us, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to speaking to you again and finding out what's going on in the community. And well, there you have it. I want to thank you for joining us. Don't forget, this is a Danny Ramos project, and I'm standing in for him as best I can. So don't forget to, if you need the help, you need the assistance, please don't hesitate to come in and see Anna or Raphael. I'm Jose Miranda, and this has been Hispanic Speak Out. Thank you.
We're in hard times, and some of us are going to need a lawyer. And if you need a lawyer, don't just react to a TV commercial. Get a copy of the Lawyers Consumer Directory, which is available absolutely free of charge at any 7-Eleven store throughout Central Florida. The Lawyers Consumer Directory is going to give you real hardcore knowledge on how to hire a lawyer and a lot of information on issues like bankruptcy, foreclosure, and more. Get the Lawyers Consumer Directory. It's absolutely free of charge at any 7-Eleven throughout Central Florida.
Welcome back to Hispanic Speak Out. I'm Jose Miranda, along with the lovely and talented Daisy Aros, and who is a co-contributor to the program. And we're being joined tonight with Mario, please forgive me the last name. Ceballos, who is attorney at law and bankruptcy and other things that you do. Bankruptcy and one more thing.
Personal injury.
Personal injury.
Among other work.
So welcome, and tell me, I'm in debt up into my ears. Why should I come to you, and you're going to charge me $3,000 for the pleasure of talking to you?
If you're looking just to wipe out your debt, you're definitely not going to have to pay anywhere near $3,000. There's certain other more complicated bankruptcy matters that might cost more. But the reason why you want to talk to us is because I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm not going to just tell you anything to take your money. I'm going to really look at the realistic solution. And first of all, I'm going to evaluate whether or not bankruptcy is even the right option. It's not necessarily the right thing for everybody. You know, what people a lot of times don't understand is, although it's a very powerful tool to wipe out tons of debt, if you have assets, if you have cars that are paid off and worth some money, and other free and clear assets, those are things that can be taken by the bankruptcy trustee. And
but if I recall correctly, there's two types of bankruptcy. There's a Chapter 13 and a Chapter 7.
Correct.
Can you maybe elaborate on both of them?
Absolutely. Chapter 7 is also known as a straight bankruptcy. In a straight bankruptcy, it's basically a liquidation of your life. In a straight bankruptcy, you discharge all of your debt. You're not liable for any of it, for the rest of your life.
Which typically that type of bankruptcy would help someone just clean house, meaning they keep nothing.
Well, now the law does protect certain very important assets, and it's important for people to understand. For example, under Florida law, your homestead is completely bulletproof. In other words, you can have a house paid off, and as long as it's your homestead and you live in it, and it doesn't matter how much it is, the bankruptcy can't touch that. It's completely protected. Okay. Now, it's important to understand everybody's situation is different, and depending on your specific circumstances, it could still be at risk. And it's very rare, but let's say that you bought a house, totally outright with some money the day before you filed, then it could be a little bit more complicated.
So you get to keep the house debt-free.
Oh, no. That's assuming that the house is paid off.
Okay.
Now, if you want to stay in your house and there's a mortgage on it and you're current on that mortgage, then you can do what's called a reaffirmation agreement with the bank, and you get to stay with the house, but the debt also survives the bankruptcy since it's a secured debt. It's also important to understand there's certain debts that you can't wipe out. For example, student loans, unfortunately, one of those types of debts that will never go away. Congress has passed laws that protect the government from having those things wiped out. And if you owe somebody money for child support or support of any kind, alimony, that survives a bankruptcy for sure. And if you owe the government any fines, any sort of thing that's been assessed against you, sometimes it's harder to wipe that out. A lot of people have tax issues, and it's important to understand that bankruptcy could be a tool to get rid of tax debt. But the law says that the tax debt must be older.
When you refer to tax, are you referring to tax on your property or an income tax?
Income tax.
Okay.
If the debt that you owe to the IRS is for a year that's more than 3 years ago and you filed already a return for that year, then it is dischargeable. But if you owe the IRS money for tax years within the last 3 years, that's going to stick too.
What about tickets and stuff like that? You might get parking tickets. Are those discharged?
Like judgments?
That's a very interesting. It's very interesting that you bring that up. Typically under Schedule E, that would be considered a priority debt and it wouldn't go away. However, I've had a very interesting issue come up recently because a lot of times if you have tons of tickets and you don't pay them, they'll get referred, at least in Orange County, to a collection agency called Alliance One. So I have a client that has tons. I think it's almost close to $10,000 in ticket debts that just have piled up over the years.
And he still has a license?
And no, he definitely he wants to get it back. And but the issue
maybe he
is,
shouldn't.
I know, maybe not. But the issue is Alliance One, do they get the same protection that the government does? You know, I would argue that if the government legitimately sold that debt to Alliance One,
it's a debt.
I'd say that it's a debt that's subject to discharge, but we don't know either way. It could be argued either way. That's why we have jobs, obviously, and I'm sure they would take a different position. But
so people out there, tickets might not go away if you file bankruptcy.
Now, Florida's been known for being a little hinky when it comes to bankruptcy.
Okay.
And there are a lot of lawsuits being filed left and right. How does one keep up with all that? Is that why we would engage someone like yourself?
Well, I think that the most important reason why you would want to engage an attorney to file a bankruptcy instead of doing it yourself or going through a paralegal is because you can get into trouble pretty easily if you don't fill out your schedules properly. If you're, you know, what a lot of people will do is they won't seek the advice of an attorney. They'll shuffle their assets around, maybe pull a bunch of cash out of the bank, you know, donate a car to a friend or family member, and those sorts of actions could really put your bankruptcy at risk. In fact, it has the, you know, it could have the ability to totally you know, have your bankruptcy case dismissed for filing in bad faith. So if you seek out an attorney before you do anything and make sure that you follow his advice, there's a much higher probability that your bankruptcy will go through. Also, it's not that, you know, it's not a walk in the park to fill out that bankruptcy questionnaire. It's very complicated. We use a software called Best Case. Pretty much every respectable bankruptcy attorney in town uses that software, and it's specifically tailored to make sure the petition comes out straight so that there's really no questions about it.
I've seen billboards that says bankruptcy is like a restart button. Typically, if you have bad credit and you file bankruptcy, does that mean that your credit now is 800?
No, what happens is, actually people are very surprised. I've represented clients that have discharged even millions of debt. Our firm has discharged almost $10 million in debt to date. And I have a client that we filed bankruptcy for. His schedules had about $1.7 million, and within 2 years, his credit score was back up around $600, and he was already getting credit card offers. Now, you know, everybody's case is different. I'm in no way saying that that will go for everybody, but what happens as far as credit goes after bankruptcy, a lot of people are surprised to find out that in the months after their bankruptcy, maybe around 6 months or more, it's different for everybody, they'll actually start getting credit card offers. Why? Because they know that you can't go bankrupt for another 8 years.
You're a sure bet.
You can only get a discharge of your debt every 8 years. And, you know, that's why, and on top of that, they know you don't have anything else to pay and maybe you're trying to rebuild your credit. But I've definitely had clients that, and we can actually project and estimate what your credit score will be in the year and 2 years after your bankruptcy once we run you through our system, so you can make a good decision.
What made you decide that this is what you want to do? When you went to law school, you decided you want to do bankruptcy?
Actually, to be honest, when I went to law school, I wanted to be a real estate attorney. That was my #1 goal. Unfortunately, when I graduated in 2007, and the real estate market was completely tanking. But I wanted to make sure that I could fill a need and come back to my community. I grew up here in Florida. I moved here in '93. And when I came back, I kind of foresaw it and wanted to fill that need.
But you also do injury law too.
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you tell the audience about that?
Yeah, sure. I really like injury law because I don't have to worry about billing a client, taking money out of their pocket. It's more about making sure that they're fairly compensated for their injury, and really trying to be a firewall between them and the insurance company. I mean, the insurance companies are ruthless at trying to pay out, you know, people pennies on the dollar, and sometimes people are totally clueless at what they could really be entitled to. Another thing is that people sometimes don't know where to seek the proper medical attention that's tailored to an accident case. Although you may have a doctor that you're very comfortable with or a chiropractor that you're very comfortable with and familiar with, a lot of times they don't specialize in accident law. And so when it comes time to demand the insurance company for the limits
They'll
of the
just settle
policy,
for the minimum.
yeah, well, not only that, but the way that your doctor is going to write up that report is not going to really accurately assess maybe all the injuries that you have and the way that it could affect you in the future, like an accident specialist might. And I have a network of doctors and chiropractors that I work with that I know and trust to properly treat an injury case, that specialize in injury cases, and will give me the material and the cannon fodder that I need to fight the insurance company and even go to trial if we have to.
But in the state of Florida, there's a maximum and a minimum. Do you guys typically go above that maximum, or can you fight for more money?
Do you mean okay, well, how it works in Florida is this. Everybody who buys insurance will elect to have a certain policy limit, okay? The minimum is the personal injury protection, which is $10,000. I advise everybody to buy more coverage than that, especially if you have certain assets that you want to protect from a potential judgment in an injury case. Now, for example, let's say that somebody has insurance and their policy limit is $50,000, okay? Now, depending on your injuries, your injury might be worth $50,000. So what we do is we always demand that policy limit. The insurance company only has to pay that pre-suit, okay? Let's say that the injury company says, no, we're only going to pay you $30,000. And we say, that's not enough, we're going to go to trial. If we go to trial and we get a verdict from the jury that is more than the policy limit, they have to pay that. The insurance company has to pay that because basically what they will have deemed it, the law says that that's bad faith. You have a limit, you should have tendered. Now, if they say, okay, we'll pay the 50, even if a jury comes back with $1 million verdict, the insurance company only has to pay that. Now, the judgment is still effective against the person that injured you, but it's very important to make sure, and what we have at our firm is we have an asset locator, and I don't just stop at the insurance company. I always check to see if that individual has any assets in the state of Florida.
Yeah, because in the state of Florida, you can hold a judgment against them, and they can lose their driver's license. And also, if they have assets or money in the bank, you can attack that money as well.
You can attach that, you can garnish that, and so, you know, they're liable for whatever that judgment is, period. So to answer your question, that's how it works with the insurance companies. They're usually incentivized to settle before, but I always keep an eye towards litigation. I never rule out the possibility of filing suit because, you know, you have to show them that you mean business, and it costs them a lot more money to go to court.
Tell us how to reach you. How's the best way to reach you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Our number is 407-704-8975. We have a 24-hour call center. You call there anytime, day or night. 365 days a year, somebody will always pick up. We're in the office from 9 to 6 every day, but every time that somebody leaves a message with my call center, I'm immediately text message and an email goes out to me and my entire staff so that we make sure to stay in the loop.
Mario, just one more time, but a little slower for the audience.
No problem. 407-704-8975. The Ceballos Law Firm would be happy to take your call and help you out however we can.
And where are you located?
We're located at 638 Broadway Avenue, downtown in Lake Eola Heights. We have free on-site parking. It's a nice little boutique-looking law firm with a nice porch out front. It says the Ceballos Law Firm right out front.
Bilingual firm?
Yes. Absolutely, bilingual firm. Me and my case manager both speak fluent Spanish, and actually both my case managers speak fluent Spanish, and we're happy to help out anybody in the Latino community. I would say actually probably about 80 to 90% of our client base is Latino. So
are they walk-in or are they just
mostly word of mouth referral? Actually,
word of mouth.
Very few walk-ins. I'd say most of the people just you know, have no previous client of ours. Like I said, I grew up in the area. I've got a lot of family in the area, a lot of friends, and you know, that's how we.
And again, for the audience, you do not have to pay anything unless you are awarded, correct?
Correct. And when it comes to an injury case, we charge absolutely no fee unless we recover or win your case. And when it comes to bankruptcy, we pride ourselves in having the most competitive rates in town. We'll beat any attorney advertised price, and we absolutely guarantee our services in bankruptcy if you qualify for the relief.
Mario, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
Happy to be
it.
on.
Okay.
All right.
This has been Hispanic Speak Out. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll return next week, same time, same channel. Good night now.
Good night.